The quantum equations on Dr. Maya Patel's whiteboard seemed to mock her as she stared at them in the dim light of her university office. Outside, Cambridge's historic buildings cast long shadows in the autumn sunset, but Maya barely noticed the time. Her research into quantum entanglement had hit another dead end, and the grant committee meeting tomorrow loomed like an executioner's axe over her career. The soft blue glow of her computer screen illuminated scattered papers and empty coffee cups, the detritus of another 18-hour workday. At 32, Maya had already earned a reputation as one of the most promising quantum physicists of her generation, but lately, that promise felt more like a burden than an accolade. The knock at her door was so quiet she almost missed it. 3 precise taps, evenly spaced like a metronome. Maya frowned, glancing at her watch, 11:47 p.m. The physics building was supposed to be empty at this hour. "Come in," she called, expecting the night janitor or perhaps a lost graduate student. The door opened silently, and Maya's world shifted on its axis. The woman who entered moved with an otherworldly grace that immediately set off warning bells in Maya's mind. She was tall, impossibly so, with features that seemed to shift subtly when Maya tried to focus on them. Her skin had an opalescent quality that caught the dim light and reflected it in ways that defied physics. "Dr. Maya Patel," the stranger said, her voice carrying harmonics that made Maya's teeth tingle. "Your work on quantum entanglement has drawn attention." Maya's hand instinctively went to her phone. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" The stranger's lips curved in what might have been a smile. "My designation is Zara. I represent the collective, though that name will mean nothing to you yet." She gestured at Maya's whiteboard. "Your equations are elegant but incomplete. You're closer than anyone on Earth has come before, but you're missing a crucial understanding of how spacetime folds at the quantum level." Maya's scientific curiosity temporarily overwhelmed her fear. "What do you mean, incomplete? These equations represent years of work." "Yes," Zara said, stepping closer to the board. Her movement was too smooth, like animation missing frames. "And they are remarkable for someone working with such limited understanding. But observe." She raised her hand, and the air around it seemed to ripple. A piece of chalk floated off Maya's desk and began writing on the board, adding symbols Maya had never seen before to her equations. Maya's breath caught in her throat. "That's impossible." "Impossible is a human concept," Zara said, turning to face her. "One you will need to abandon if you wish to understand what I'm offering." Maya's mind raced, trying to process what she was seeing. The new symbols on her board seemed to shift and change when she looked at them directly, like her brain couldn't quite process their true form. "You're not human." "No." "Are you, from another planet?" "That's an oversimplification, but it will suffice for now." Zara moved to the window, looking out at the campus grounds. "Your species stands at a crossroads, Dr. Patel. Your work has attracted the attention of the collective, an alliance of civilizations that have mastered the art of quantum manipulation. We've been watching Earth's progress with great interest." Maya forced herself to take slow, steady breaths. "Why are you here?" "To offer you a choice." Zara turned back to her, those strange eyes seeming to peer into Maya's soul. "You can continue your research here, bounded by Earth's limited understanding of quantum mechanics. Eventually, you might even make a breakthrough, though it would take decades. Or you can come with me. Learn what the universe truly is. See how quantum mechanics actually works, unfettered by human preconceptions. Help your species take its first steps into a larger reality." Maya laughed, a sharp, nervous sound. "Just like that? Leave everything behind and go with a stranger who claims to be an alien?" "Yes." Zara's directness was unsettling. "Though I understand your skepticism. Would you like proof?" Before Maya could respond, Zara raised her hand again. The air between them seemed to fold, creating a window into somewhere else. Through it, Maya could see what looked like a vast chamber filled with impossible geometric shapes and beings that her mind struggled to categorize. That's a quantum portal," Maya whispered, her scientific mind racing to understand what she was seeing. "You're manipulating spacetime at the quantum level." "Yes. The very thing your equations are attempting to describe." Zara closed her hand, and the portal vanished. "The collective has been watching your progress. You're closer than any human has come to understanding the true nature of quantum space. With proper guidance, you could bridge the gap between Earth and the broader cosmic community. Maya's mind whirled with possibilities. If what Zara was showing her was real, it would revolutionize not just physics, but human civilization itself. But the magnitude of the decision threatened to overwhelm her. Why me? She asked finally. There are other physicists. Your equations show an intuitive understanding of quantum mechanics that is rare among your species. You see patterns others miss. And most importantly, you're willing to question fundamental assumptions about how the universe works. Maya looked around her office, at the years of research, the familiar comfort of her academic life, the pictures of family and friends on her desk. If I say yes, what happens then? You will come with me to the collective's primary research facility. You will learn things that will fundamentally change your understanding of reality. And if you succeed, you will help guide humanity into a new age of quantum understanding. And if I fail? Zara's expression remained neutral. Then humanity's introduction to the broader cosmic community will be delayed until another candidate emerges. The choice is yours, Dr. Patel. But know that opportunities like this are rare. Maya stood slowly, her legs shaky. She walked to her whiteboard, studying the new symbols Zara had added. They seemed to pulse with possibility, hinting at concepts just beyond her grasp. Her whole life, she had searched for answers about the fundamental nature of reality. Now those answers were being offered to her, if she had the courage to reach for them. She turned back to Zara, her decision made. I need to know everything. No holding back, no half-truths. If I'm going to do this, I need to understand exactly what I'm getting into. Zara inclined her head slightly. That is precisely why you were chosen, Dr. Patel. Your desire for complete understanding. Are you accepting my offer? Maya took one last look at her office, at her old life, and nodded. Yes. I'm ready. Then let us begin, Zara said, raising her hand once more. Your first lesson in quantum reality starts now. The world around them began to fold, and Maya Patel took her first step into a universe far stranger and more wonderful than she had ever imagined. The transition between realities felt like diving into a pool of liquid mathematics. Maya's consciousness stretched and compressed as the quantum fold engulfed her, her very atoms seeming to hum with new frequencies. When the world reformed around her, she found herself in a space that defied every law of physics she had ever known. The chamber they materialized in stretched impossibly in all directions, its walls shifting between states of matter like a living thing. Geometric patterns that seemed to exist in more than 3 dimensions flowed across surfaces that couldn't properly be called surfaces at all. The air itself felt charged with potential, carrying information in ways Maya's human senses struggled to process. Welcome to the Nexus, Zara said, her form seeming more natural in this environment. This is the primary research facility of the collective, though that description is woefully inadequate in your language. Maya tried to focus on anything that made sense to her human brain, but everything seemed to shift and change when she looked at it directly. I feel strange. Like my thoughts are moving differently. Your consciousness is adapting to quantum space, Zara explained. Here, the barriers between thought and reality are more permeable. Try to focus on your breathing. Your mind will adjust. Before Maya could respond, she noticed movement in her peripheral vision. Other beings were appearing in the chamber, emerging from what looked like folds in reality itself. Some were vaguely humanoid, others completely alien in form. One appeared to be made entirely of crystalline structures that sang with mathematical precision. Another seemed to exist as a pattern of light and shadow that hurt her eyes if she looked at it too long. These are your colleagues, Zara said, gesturing to the assembled beings. Representatives from various civilizations within the collective, each bringing their own understanding of quantum mechanics to our shared research. A figure that seemed to be composed of flowing liquid metal approached them. When it spoke, its words appeared directly in Maya's mind as concepts rather than sounds. Welcome, Maya Patel of Earth. Your work on quantum entanglement resonance has been most intriguing. Thank you, Maya managed, trying to hide her shock at the telepathic communication. Though I'm beginning to realize how limited my understanding was. All understanding is limited, the liquid metal being replied. That is why we seek to combine our knowledge. I am Nexus, Node 7, though you may call me 7. I will be one of your primary instructors in quantum mathematics. Maya noticed that some of the other beings were keeping their distance, their body language, or what passed for it, suggesting discomfort or disapproval. Zara noticed her observation. Not all members of the collective supported the decision to contact Earth, she explained quietly. Some believe your species is too volatile to be trusted with advanced quantum knowledge. And what do you believe? Maya asked. I believe potential outweighs fear, Zara replied. Come. There is much to show you. They moved through the facility, though moved wasn't quite the right word. Space seemed to flow around them, responding to their intentions rather than physical movement. Maya saw laboratories where beings manipulated the fabric of reality itself, testing the boundaries of quantum mechanics in ways that made her previous research seem like child's play. In one chamber, a group of entities that looked like abstract mathematics given form were conducting what Seven explained was an experiment in quantum consciousness transfer. In another, researchers were studying what appeared to be a small universe they had created, watching as it developed its own laws of physics. This is impossible, Maya whispered, watching as a researcher casually folded spacetime like origami. The energy requirements alone. Your understanding of energy is based on three-dimensional physics, Seven explained. Here, we work with quantum energy states that exist simultaneously across multiple dimensions. Observe. Seven's liquid metal form rippled, and suddenly Maya could see the quantum fields around them, the intricate dance of possibilities and probabilities that made up reality itself. The sight was overwhelming, beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Your species has barely scratched the surface of quantum mechanics, a new voice said. Maya turned to see a being that seemed to be made of living darkness, its form outlined by what looked like stars. Yet you presume to join us here. Ambassador Void, Zara said, her tone careful. Dr. Patel has been approved by the Council. The Council can be short-sighted, the dark being replied. Earth's history is filled with violence and destruction. Giving them access to quantum technology would be like giving a primitive species antimatter weapons. Maya felt anger rise in her chest. We may be younger than your civilization, but we're capable of learning, of growing. Our primitive species has made remarkable progress in understanding the universe. Remarkable? Ambassador Void's form rippled with what might have been amusement. You cannot even see the quantum layer of reality without assistance. Your equations are like a child's drawings compared to true quantum mathematics. Then teach me, Maya challenged, surprising herself with her boldness. If we're so primitive, prove it by showing me what I'm missing. Unless you're afraid we might learn too quickly. The temperature in the chamber seemed to drop as Ambassador Void considered her words. Finally, the dark being made a gesture that might have been respect. Perhaps you will prove interesting after all, human. But remember, you are here on probation. One mistake, one sign that humanity cannot handle this knowledge responsibly, and this experiment ends. With that, the ambassador dissolved into quantum foam and vanished. Maya released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. You handled that well, Zara said. Though you should be careful. Ambassador Void represents a significant faction within the collective who believe Earth should be quarantined until your species evolves further naturally. How many others feel that way? Maya asked. Enough to make your position here precarious, Seven answered. But those of us who support Earth's inclusion believe the potential benefits outweigh the risks. Your species has a unique way of looking at problems that could benefit the collective. Maya nodded, her scientific mind already racing with possibilities. Then we should get started. I have a lot to learn, and it seems I need to prove humanity's worth while I'm at it. Indeed, Zara said, leading them toward what appeared to be a vast library of quantum information. Your real work begins now, Dr. Patel. Are you ready to see how deep the quantum rabbit hole truly goes? Maya squared her shoulders, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She had crossed the threshold into a reality beyond her wildest dreams, and she was determined to prove that humanity deserved its place among the stars. Show me everything. Three months into her quantum education at the Nexus, Maya found herself dreaming in equations. Her mind had expanded in ways she never thought possible, grasping concepts that would have seemed like magic just weeks ago. The quantum library had become her second home, its vast repository of knowledge feeding her insatiable curiosity. But something wasn't adding up. She sat in what passed for her private quarters, a space that responded to her thoughts, reshaping itself to match her needs. Currently, it had configured itself into something resembling her old office at Cambridge, though the walls occasionally rippled with quantum fluctuations. Display the historical records again, she commanded, and the air in front of her filled with shimmering data streams. She had been studying the collective's archives, particularly their observations of Earth's technological development. What she found disturbed her. 7, she called out, knowing the liquid metal being would hear her through the quantum field they all shared. I need your insight on something. 7 materialized from a ripple in spacetime, their metallic form catching the strange light of the Nexus. You have questions, Maya Patel. Look at these observation records, she said, gesturing at the floating data. The collective has been watching Earth for centuries, documenting our scientific progress. But there's a pattern I can't ignore. 7 flowed closer, their form shifting to better perceive the information. What pattern do you perceive? These gaps in our development. Moments where humanity seemed on the verge of a breakthrough in quantum physics, only to suddenly lose the thread. Maya highlighted several points in the timeline. Here, in 1952, an Indian physicist nearly discovered quantum entanglement manipulation. His lab mysteriously burned down. In 1987, a Chinese research team was close to cracking quantum teleportation. Their funding was suddenly cut. In 2012, a Brazilian scientist. You are very observant, 7 interrupted, their tone uncharacteristically grave. Perhaps too observant. Maya turned to face them. 7, has the collective been actively suppressing Earth's quantum research? The liquid metal being was silent for a long moment. When they spoke, their thoughts came through more quietly than usual. What you are suggesting would violate multiple collective protocols. That's not a no. 7's form rippled with what Maya had learned to recognize as anxiety. You should be careful with such theories, Maya Patel. There are those who would not appreciate such speculation. Like Ambassador Void? Maya pressed. The faction that thinks humanity isn't ready for quantum technology. I cannot confirm or deny. 7 began, but Maya cut them off. 7, please. I need to know the truth. Has Earth been deliberately kept in the dark? The liquid metal being seemed to sigh, a strange sound like wind through crystal. Meet me in Subnexus 9 in 1 standard rotation. Come alone. And Maya. Their form flickered anxiously. Be very careful who you trust with these questions. 7 dissolved into quantum foam, leaving Maya alone with her disturbing discoveries. She spent the next several hours reviewing more historical data, finding more and more examples of suspicious setbacks in Earth's quantum research. The pattern was undeniable once you knew to look for it. When the time came, Maya made her way to Subnexus 9, a rarely used research sector deep in the facility's quantum architecture. She found 7 waiting with another being she recognized, a crystalline entity named Harmony who had helped with her early quantum mathematics training. What I am about to share, 7 began without preamble, could result in all our immediate quantum dissolution if discovered. Maya felt a chill run through her. Quantum dissolution was the collective's ultimate punishment, the complete unraveling of one's quantum pattern across all possible realities. There is a faction within the collective, Harmony's crystalline form chimed, each word sending ripples through the quantum field, that believes certain species must be guided in their development. They call themselves the shepherds. Guided? Maya asked, though she was beginning to understand. They believe that some species are too dangerous to be allowed unrestricted access to quantum technology, 7 explained. Earth has been of particular concern due to your species' creative application of new technologies. You mean weapons, Maya said flatly. Among other things, Harmony confirmed. The shepherds point to your nuclear weapons as proof that humanity cannot be trusted with advanced quantum knowledge. So they've been actively preventing our progress? Maya felt anger rising in her chest. Playing God with our development? It's more complicated than that, 7's form rippled uneasily. The shepherds believe they are protecting both humanity and the greater cosmic community. They point to species that destroyed themselves after achieving quantum manipulation too quickly. But that's not their decision to make, Maya argued. We have a right to develop at our own pace, make our own mistakes. We agree, Harmony chimed. Which is why we have been working to counter their influence. Your presence here is part of that effort. Maya's mind raced with implications. Zara is one of us, 7 confirmed. She has been working to prove that humanity is ready for full quantum integration. Your success here could change everything. Or, Harmony's crystalline form darkened, your failure could give the shepherds the excuse they need to implement even stricter controls on Earth's development. Maya sat back, letting the quantum field support her as she processed this information. How many others know about this? Not many, 7 answered. The shepherds are powerful, with supporters throughout the collective's hierarchy. We must move carefully. What can I do? Maya asked. Continue your research, Harmony suggested. But now that you know the truth, you can help us gather evidence. The shepherds' actions violate fundamental collective laws about non-interference. If we can prove their manipulation, we could expose them to the council, 7 finished. But it must be done carefully. One wrong move could set Earth's development back centuries. Maya stood, her determination crystallizing into something hard and bright. I didn't come here just to learn, she said. I came to help humanity take its place among the stars. If these shepherds think they can keep us in the dark forever, they don't understand human nature very well. Be careful, 7 warned. Ambassador Void and his allies will be watching you closely. Let them watch, Maya replied, her mind already forming plans. They might learn something about humanity's potential. As she left the meeting, Maya felt the weight of her new knowledge settling over her. She wasn't just here to learn anymore, she was here to fight for humanity's future. The quantum equations that had once seemed like abstract mathematics now felt like weapons in a war she hadn't known was being fought. But first, she needed to master them. The shepherds had been playing this game for centuries. If she was going to beat them at it, she needed to understand quantum reality better than they did. It was time to push her research further than any human had gone before. The game was on, and Maya Patel was playing for the future of her entire species. Maya's fingers danced through the quantum field, manipulating mathematical constructs that would have seemed impossible just months ago. The breakthrough was close, she could feel it humming in her bones. Her research had taken her deep into the fundamental nature of reality itself, past the artificial barriers the shepherds had placed on human development. The quantum resonance patterns are stable, 7 reported, their liquid metal form rippling with excitement. This is unprecedented, Maya Patel. She nodded, too focused to speak. The equations floating before her represented something revolutionary, a new way of understanding quantum space that combined human intuition with the collective's advanced knowledge. If she was right, it would prove not only humanity's capability but their unique contribution to quantum science. Suddenly, alarms blared through the quantum field. The very fabric of space around them shuddered. They know, Harmony chimed urgently, their crystalline form pulsing with warning patterns. The shepherds have detected our experiment. They're coming. Maya's hands flew faster through the quantum field, saving her work across multiple dimensional frequencies. How much time? Minutes at most, 7 answered, already moving to secure the lab's quantum boundaries. Ambassador Void himself is leading the response team. Maya felt a grim smile cross her face. Of course it would be Void, the embodiment of everything that sought to keep humanity in the dark. Good. Let him come. I want him to see this. The lab's entrance rippled and tore open. Ambassador Void flowed in like a tide of living darkness, flanked by other shepherd supporters. Their forms writhed with barely contained anger. This ends now, Void's voice resonated through the quantum field. You have exceeded your authorized research parameters, Dr. Patel. Your experiment will be terminated, and you will be removed from the Nexus. Maya straightened, facing the dark being without fear. On what grounds? I've broken no laws of the collective. You are attempting to access quantum knowledge far beyond your species' approved development level, one of Void's supporters declared. The potential danger dash. The only danger, Maya interrupted, is to your control over human development. Which, by the way, violates at least 17 collective protocols on non-interference. Would you like me to list them? The temperature in the lab dropped as Void's form expanded. You dare dash. Oh, I dare, Maya's voice was steel. Because while you've been trying to shut down my research, I've been gathering proof of every time the shepherds have interfered with Earth's natural development. Every accident, every suspicious funding cut, every brilliant scientist who mysteriously lost their work, I have it all documented. She gestured, and the quantum field filled with data streams, hundreds of instances of shepherd interference over centuries. And I've already transmitted copies to multiple secure locations throughout the Nexus. If anything happens to me, this evidence goes directly to the Council. The other beings in the room shifted uneasily, but Void seemed to grow only darker. You think you can blackmail the shepherds? We who have guided countless civilizations. Guided? Maya laughed sharply. You mean controlled. Suppressed. Kept them dependent on your approval. But humanity is different. We don't just accept what we're given, we question, we push boundaries, we innovate. She waved her hand, and her latest research filled the air around them, complex quantum equations that made even some of Void's supporters gasp. This is what you're really afraid of, she continued. Not that we'll destroy ourselves, but that will surpass your expectations. That will find new ways of understanding quantum reality that you never considered. Your equations are flawed, Void declared, but there was a note of uncertainty in his resonance. Are they? Maya smiled. 7. Harmony, initiate the test sequence. Before Void could stop them, the quantum field around them began to shift. Maya's equations sprang to life, transforming from abstract mathematics into physical reality. The space within the lab started to fold in new ways, creating patterns of quantum manipulation that had never been seen before. Impossible, one of Void's supporters whispered. No, Maya corrected. Just impossible for you to imagine. You've been so focused on controlling development that you've forgotten how to innovate. But humanity? Innovation is what we do best. The demonstration reached its peak, and for a moment, everyone in the lab could see it, a new way of manipulating quantum space, more efficient and elegant than anything in the collective's archives. Maya had combined human creativity with advanced quantum knowledge to create something entirely new. But before she could savor the triumph, warning signals blasted through the quantum field. Seven's form rippled with alarm. Multiple quantum disruption waves approaching, they reported. The shepherds are attempting to shut down the entire research sector. Maya's mind raced. She had expected resistance, but this was beyond what she had prepared for. The Shepherds were willing to destroy years of research, potentially destabilize an entire section of the Nexus, just to stop her discovery from being documented. Harmony, 7, begin emergency protocols, she commanded. Download everything we can salvage to secure quantum storage. Maya Patel, Void's voice had taken on a dangerous edge. This is your final warning. Stand down, or face the consequences. She turned to face him, her decision already made. Humanity has faced consequences before. We've faced disasters, wars, plagues, and we've survived. We've learned. We've grown. And we'll do it again. Maya raised her hands, connecting directly with the quantum field around them. The knowledge she had gained here, combined with her human intuition, gave her one chance. One desperate gambit to save her research and expose the truth. You want to see what humanity is capable of? She asked, as energy began to swirl around her. Watch closely. And with that, Dr. Maya Patel did something that would change the relationship between humanity and the collective forever. The quantum storm was about to break, and nothing in the cosmos would be the same after it passed. The quantum storm Maya unleashed tore through the Nexus like a hurricane of pure mathematics. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist as her revolutionary equations rewrote the rules of quantum space. She stood at the center of the maelstrom, her consciousness expanded across multiple dimensions, fighting to control the forces she had released. What have you done? Ambassador Void's voice barely carried through the quantum turbulence. His dark form wavered as the new quantum patterns interfaced with existing spacetime. What humanity does best, Maya answered, her voice resonating across quantum frequencies. Adaptation. Evolution. Revolution. The storm was doing exactly what she had theorized, not just manipulating quantum space, but revealing its underlying structure. Every quantum manipulation the Shepherds had ever performed was being highlighted, their interference with Earth's development exposed like invisible ink under ultraviolet light. The entire collective will see this, Harmony chimed, their crystalline form refracting the quantum energies into prismatic displays of data. Every instance of interference, every violation of non-intervention protocols. Stop this immediately. Void commanded, his form expanding to try to contain the quantum storm. But Maya's equations were beyond his control, operating on principles the Shepherds had never considered. You know what your greatest mistake was? Maya asked, even as she fought to maintain control of the quantum forces surging around them. You thought you could predict and control human development because you understood our physics. But you never understood our nature. Seven's liquid metal form flowed through the quantum currents, helping to stabilize the patterns Maya had created. The council chambers are receiving the data stream. They're convening an emergency session. Maya nodded, sweat beading on her forehead as she maintained the delicate quantum balance. The storm was taking everything she had learned about quantum mechanics and combining it with something uniquely human, the ability to see patterns where others saw chaos, to find new paths where others saw walls. Suddenly, new presences materialized in the lab, members of the collective council themselves, their forms varying from beings of pure energy to entities that seemed to be made of living information. They observed the quantum storm with what Maya sensed was astonishment. What is the meaning of this? The first speaker's voice resonated through all dimensions simultaneously. Honorable Council, Maya began, still maintaining the quantum field, I present evidence of systematic violation of non-intervention protocols by the Shepherd faction. But more importantly, I present proof of humanity's readiness to join the collective as full partners. She gestured, and the quantum storm coalesced into clear data streams, showing not just the Shepherd's interference but the full implications of her breakthrough. These equations, she explained, represent a new understanding of quantum mechanics. One that could only come from combining the collective's knowledge with human perspective. We don't just copy or follow, we innovate, we find new ways, we see possibilities others miss. The council members studied the data in silence. Even Void and his supporters stood quietly, knowing the gravity of this moment. Your species was deemed too unpredictable, one council member observed. Too prone to using new discoveries for destruction. We can be destructive, Maya acknowledged. But we can also create. We learn from our mistakes. We grow. And most importantly, we share what we learn. Knowledge, in human culture, isn't meant to be hoarded or controlled, it's meant to be shared, built upon, improved. She took a deep breath, knowing her next words could determine humanity's cosmic future. The shepherds tried to control our development because they feared what we might become. But in doing so, they nearly prevented us from becoming what we could be, partners in understanding the universe itself. The quantum storm had settled into a stable pattern now, her equations proving themselves with every passing moment. The council members communicated among themselves in frequencies Maya couldn't perceive. Finally, the first speaker addressed the chamber. What you have shown us today goes beyond the question of interference. You have demonstrated not just mastery of quantum mechanics, but the ability to innovate, to see quantum reality in ways our oldest members had not considered. Maya held her breath as the speaker continued. The evidence of the shepherd's violations will be investigated fully. But more importantly, your discovery has proven that humanity has more to offer the collective than we had realized. The time for isolation is over. Ambassador Void's form rippled with protest. You cannot dash. We can and we will, another council member interrupted. The human species has earned its place among us, not through age or power, but through innovation and perspective. Maya felt tears in her eyes as the implications hit her. Then Earth will be welcomed into the collective, the first speaker confirmed. Your equations will be shared with Earth's scientific community, beginning a new era of human quantum development. And you, Dr. Maya Patel, will help guide this transition. The quantum field hummed with the weight of this historic moment. Seven and Harmony moved to Maya's side, their presence supportive and proud. There will be challenges ahead, the speaker warned. Not all will accept this change easily. But humanity has proven itself ready to face those challenges. Maya nodded, already thinking of the work ahead. Earth would need guidance to handle this quantum leap in development, but not control, never control again. They would face whatever came next as they always had, with curiosity, creativity, and indomitable spirit. I'm ready, she said, standing tall in the quantum field that had become as natural to her as breathing. And so is humanity. As the council members began discussing the practical details of Earth's integration into the collective, Maya caught a glimpse of Zara watching from the edge of the chamber. The alien who had started all this with a knock on her office door gave her the slightest nod, a gesture of respect, of acknowledgement, of faith rewarded. Maya smiled, knowing that this was just the beginning. Humanity's next great adventure was about to begin, and she would be there to help guide it, not as a controlled species, but as equals in the grand cosmic dance of quantum reality. The stars were finally within reach, and this time, no one would hold them back.